mics are on.
Good, terrific Tuesday.
Yay!
Oh, I'm so excited to be in the Sunny TV studio today because we have some entertainment and some real hard-hitting local stories that'll absolutely inspire you to do better in our communities today, right?
Wait, did you just tell everybody? Do better. That's funny because there's this story online. It was a few months ago.
Tell me.
There was a mom, and she was like, so my kid wanted me, the kid is in 2nd grade.
Okay.
My daughter wanted me to help her make Valentine's for the class. So the mom starts opening what the kid wrote, like, Kathy, you have great hair, all these nice ones. It gets to this boy, I forgot what his name is. The mom opened it, all she told him was, do better.
Do better.
Everyone else was like, you're so funny, you're so pretty, I like your clothes. And it's like, do better. I can't. Kids are funny.
Well, today is a very special day, as we learned from Zaza Flamenca.
Yes.
It's Bastille Day today. The French are celebrating liberty, and we're celebrating with Zaza Flamenca, of course. We have excellent taste, as always. And Sunny's today's show has range. We're talking belly laughs and full hearts, and we've got conversation today that might change how you see your own neighborhood. One of the most important sit-downs we've done all year, and we've got a party announcement with 4 legs and a frozen drink.
Yay.
We've got a love story involving heavy machinery, and Mel has been sharpening her claws on a beloved American classic, and honestly, we should probably warn Hollywood, oh wait, they're still asleep. That's because the sun rises in the east, baby. Let's turn it over to the queen of the sunny snack scene. Mel, are we snacking?
Not yet, but I'll tell you, the movie today is one of my, it's in my burn book. I can't stand this movie.
Yes, we have it. For Sunnies that weren't here
We're on
yesterday.
page 3.
We're on page, I purchased this beautiful journal. Look, it has like the gold pages. This is a very official book. This is Mel's burn book. And if you make the burn book.
Don't show.
Yeah.
We're on page 3.
We're on page 3.
And we just started yesterday.
We've got a laundry list of people and organizations and movies and
everything.
Music.
Food.
Anything that Mel does not like goes in this book, and we will auction it off at the end of the year for a charity of her choice.
You're correct.
It better be tail waggers.
It will be anything with animals, man. But today's sundial is serving.
Yeah.
We've got a guest in studio whose name I actually got right today. And his mission is looking out for neighbors who keep the country running. Bring your hearts and your tissues to this one because this conversation is about you, the community members, even if you don't know it yet.
Guys, I can't tell you how important this conversation.
I'm so excited
We're sitting
about
down
it.
with Carl Creco from the United Way of St. John's and Putnam counties. He's going to be talking about a specific class of families that have been ignored within the philanthropic gamut, and we're going to bring some light into it in St. Johns County. We're going to talk about it. Really excited about it. Also excited about.
Oh, this is really cool.
The loves of our lives, boat drinks.
Ahoy, matey!
Yeah, they're doing a really cool fundraiser on Sunday. I've got the details in an event section right after our interview.
Wait, so there's a party.
Oh, a party!
Party at Boat Drinks.
Love that.
Meanwhile, in local news, Sunny's a coffee company, a brewery, and a pastor walk into a zoning meeting. This is actually maybe a joke.
It sounds like it.
I'm not joking.
And we got a story about a beloved downtown neighbor, a bench, and what happens when the whole town decides to stand up for somebody. So, yeah, be ready on that story, baby.
And on the national deck, a grandpa, a bison, and a fight nobody booked. And also, my snack pack is spinning 3 flavors of love today, and one of them is
Tin Roof Rusted. Oh, I got a Sunshine Shenanigans story.
Yes.
And all I can tell you that it's involved is a dive bar, a riding lawnmower, and a 19-year-old busboy who got a battlefield promotion. It's a story. It's a journey.
Yes, and guess what? My movie today, it made me want to hate chocolate, and it took away another 3 hours of my life, like that stupid movie Titanic. So get ready.
I'm glad you recovered from the chocolate clause because this show is fierce.
It's fresh.
It's Sunny TV. Oh, and now a quick word from our title sponsors, the Bailey Group and Steve Chapman's All-American Air. Be ready for anything with the Bailey Group, an NFP company. Life is full of unexpected moments. Whether it's securing your family's future, protecting your business, or planning for individual wealth, the Bailey Group is here to guide you every single step of the way. Since 1954, the Bailey Group has been a trusted cornerstone of the St. Augustine community. Under the leadership of President Mark Bailey, they've grown from a local agency into a nationally recognized firm, offering tailored solutions for individuals, families, and businesses, with a focus on individual health and life insurance, Medicare solutions, group insurance, and property and casualty commercial coverage. The Bailey Group combines cutting-edge technology, strategic partnerships, and personalized service to deliver the peace of mind you deserve. Give them a call today, 904-461-1800.
Hi, I'm Steve Chapman, owner of All American Air Conditioning and Heating. For over 40 years, we've been serving St. Augustine and the surrounding areas. We're the largest HVAC dealer in St. Johns County, providing high-quality service and products. With courteous technicians responding to your HVAC needs, our expertise will give you confidence in your investment. Family-owned All American Air Conditioning, voted best of St. Augustine for more than 20 years running.
Okay, I'm making tea. Tell the weather.
Here we go.
Push.
Oh, this weather. I'm so sick of this.
I feel like it's nicer. The rain kind
Well, I'll
of.
tell you, yesterday at the gym, it's usually very hot in there.
Yeah.
But yesterday, since it rained when I walked in, it actually was like super comfortable.
Yeah.
It felt good. But today, it's going to be a high of 88, but it's going to
See?
feel like 100.
Okay, but we were
It's
at
down to
110.
111, yeah,
Yeah,
so
we
it's
were up
down.
there. Now we're down here.
Yes, we may have a thunderstorm this afternoon, but I think yesterday it only lasted for like 10 minutes.
That's a typical
The
Florida
UV
storm.
index is down to 5.0, which is moderate. And wind gusts are 15 miles per hour, coming in southwest at 8 miles per hour.
Okay.
Tonight, it's going to drop down to 73, but it's going to feel 79.
Okay, I like this a little bit
Oh,
of a
and you
break
want to know?
there.
You know what I did yesterday?
What did you do now?
I called up my buddy Steve Chapman.
Okay.
I spoke to Susie. So, Aaron, you're going to be very proud of me.
Isn't Susie amazing?
Love her.
I love Susie.
She got us set up with the maintenance agreement, and they're coming Friday.
Did you request for Steve Chapman? What happened there?
I did not. She was very busy.
I know, and Steve is very busy
But I
too.
think when the tech comes, I'm going to be like, you didn't bring Steve? I
Steve
requested.
handles if it's like some kind of crazy thing that's going on. Like he's been doing this for like some years. Yeah, and so he handles the hard stuff.
But I did do it, so sign up with them. Susie's freaking amazing.
Yeah. How did you feel? Because you have multiple units in your house.
Yeah, well, I talked about the mini split. I was like, the tech's got to go at the mini splits in my husband's playroom. She goes, your husband's playroom? I said, yes. It's where his drums, his guitars, his surfboards, his things live in there.
So that can be serviced as well. That's what I'm getting at.
That's why I definitely would, not only because I love Steve Chapman and Christine Chapman, but they're one of the only places that service a mini split. So we need that. And I'm really excited. So, Details by Dean.
DetailsByDean.com.
So grab your fork and abandon your diet because it's National Mac and freaking Cheese Day.
And there's a special way to make good mac and cheese.
Jim's
and
is
I've
good.
had some dog water mac and cheese
It's
out
bad.
there. Y'all better get on your game. You can thank a founding father for this one, actually, Mel. Thomas Jefferson, I think I love him even more now, fell in love with the dish in France and brought it home. He even had macaroni pie at the White House. Then Kraft's box version showed up in 1937 and got Depression-era families through hard times and 19 cents a box. That's pretty amazing. Hey, I think a lot of the people do the ramen noodles, but I'm gonna tell you, a mac and cheese had saved my life in college years. I would survive off of that stuff.
True story. But today it's also Bastille Day. Happy birthday to the French Revolution.
Yes, on this day in 1789, Parisians stormed the Bastille prison, and it became the spark of the French Revolution. Here's a fun detail, Mel. The mighty Bastille only held 7 prisoners that day. It wasn't about the head count. It was more of the symbol, and France still throws one of the world's biggest national parties every July 14th.
Yeah, Zaza taught us that.
That's true. And tonight she will be performing. I'll probably be in the music report at Casa Monica. Yep,
Yes.
she'll be there in the lobby
Doing the special.
performing French things, and French things will be happening in the
France.
background. France.
Yeah. But hold on to your surfboards, guys. It's Shark Awareness Day.
Yeah, this one, we need to point respect and not fear on this one. Sharks keep the entire ocean in balance by managing populations below them.
Hey, Dean, we're doing Details by Dean right now.
Oh, hey, Dean. And perspective, Sonnies, you far more likely to be injured on your own toilet than by a shark. That's a real statistic. Nice for the sharks.
Yes, and notable birthdays today. Born on this day in 1913, the 38th president, Gerald Ford.
Yes, this is trivia gold. Ford is the only person person in history to serve as both vice president and president.
Ooh.
No, wrong, because we had Joe Biden. He was vice president with Obama.
Yeah.
So, excuse me, details by Dean. You just got David. All right.
But the best part was he was a football star at Michigan who turned down offers from the Packers and the Lions.
Whoa, go ahead, boy.
He chose Congress over the NFL.
Hashtag leadership.
And happy birthday to the hilarious, the legendary Jane Lynch.
That's right. Before she was
Love her.
terrorizing the Glee Club as Sue Sylvester in that iconic tracksuit, Jane Lynch
Yeah.
spent decades grinding as a working actor.
Yeah.
Improv stages, commercials, small parts. Her break came in her 40s, proof that funny business rewards patience.
And I think when you get over 40, your humor gets way funnier
Yeah,
and
because
way darker.
you don't GAF anymore.
Yes.
Exactly. Gravity
and
takes
today,
effect.
We are remembering some people on this day in 1881. The Wild West lost one of its most infamous outlaws, Billy the Kid.
Yeah, Sheriff Pat Garrett caught up with him in Fort Sumner, New Mexico, and the newspapers turned the story into an instant legend. Half of what we know about Billy is folklore. Here's a wild one. There's only one confirmed photograph of him, and it's sold at auction for, you ready for this? $2.3 million.
Whoa.
That's pretty dope, yeah.
And in 2001, we said goodbye to a man who built half of our childhoods, William Hanna.
That's right, Hanna-Barbera, Sonny's Tom and
Flintstones.
Jerry, the Flintstones,
The
Scooby-Doo,
Jetsons.
right. Hanna and his partner, Joe Barbera, basically invented television animation as we know it. If a cartoon was made you laugh back in the day, odds are this man's fingerprints were on it. Zoinks! Needed.
Hey, Addie, good morning.
Good morning, Adalway!
Yes. And in 1867, Alfred Noble he patented the word dynamite.
Oh, I remember this.
Not just the word, but all the things.
Noble was so troubled about being remembered as a merchant of destruction that he left his entire fortune to create the Nobel Prizes. The Dynamite Man became the Peace Prize man. Talk about a legacy glow up and a full rounded story.
Yes, and in 1951, American living rooms changed forever. The first commercial color television broadcast.
That's right. CBS aired it and almost nobody saw it. Oh, shocker. Color sets were rare and cost a fortune, the equivalent of thousands of dollars today. But it lit the fuse. Within 2 decades, color TV went from luxury to living room to the actual standard we see today.
Fancy. And in 2015, we finally got a good look at Pluto.
That's
the planet,
right.
not the Disney dog.
The little guy there. NASA's New Horizons spacecraft flew 9.5 years and 3 billion miles to research it and found ice mountains as tall as the Rockies and a giant heart-shaped plane on the surface. Pluto got demoted from planet status, though, because I grew up with it being the last planet,
yeah.
and responded by showing us literally it wears its heart on its sleeve.
And weird news from history. In 1999, a man in London tried to rob a store with a banana.
Oh my God! He pointed it like it was in his, like it was in the, like a gun in the jacket. You know what I mean? But the cashier recognized the produce and he saw it and obviously refused service. The man was apprehended and there were no peel injuries. Yeah.
Peel injuries. And in 2014, a cow strolled through the automatic doors of a grocery store in Ireland.
Yeah, staff herded her out using shopping carts like the world's calmest
that cow
bullfight.
said, I heard what you did.
No damage, no injuries, and one very confused cow who presumably just wanted to see where the milk ends up. Small story there. It was actually me. In a cow costume, yeah.
And on this day in 1954, St. Augustine threw a summer music festival right in the plaza.
That's right. Local bands, regional performers, families filing the plaza for patriotic and classical music. Sound familiar, Sonnies? 70 years later, we're still doing it. This town has never stopped playing music outside. In July, it was tradition, always wearing tan.
God, Dean just said, is that a banana in your... Stop it, Dean. It's too early for those things.
Ask me to jump.
And in 2017, the city got serious about protecting downtown, testing new flood barriers along the bayfront.
Yeah, the prototypes helped shape the resilience upgrades, protecting our historic district today. Not the flashiest history, but when the storm surge kept knocking, the unglamorous projects that kept the 460 years history absolutely dry.
And aren't they getting ready to redo the seawall again?
They are in the process of doing that right now, and that's what we got to do. You always got to do the maintenance and make sure things are safe.
Yep.
Because as much as it floods, could you imagine if we didn't have it? Hiya, Mala.
Hiya.
And can you imagine if we didn't have the local music report? Sonnies, let's enjoy this while we still have it. Strum it, drum it, hum it down, Sonnies. It's time for the local music report to make you proud on this Tuesday, July 14th. I did hear yesterday that the music report might be going away. So let's celebrate these local musicians while we have them on a nice corrugated list. I have no idea how I'll pivot from that. But
we'll figure it out.
We get this music report from Visit St. Augustine, and big shout out to Henry Hurd and the crew. JC Hatfield, Milltop Tavern at noon. Joshua, Tennessee, Worthy at Pierre's Pub at 1. The world famous Zaza Flamenca, Casa Monica Resort at 5. There it is. That's our big Bastille Day moment.
Yes.
Mark Hart, Tradewinds Lounge at 5. Janaya Asian Kitchen at 5:30. Sam Bassetti at Hornskis at 6. Jeremy Weinglass at Michael's at 6. Jim Johnston at Prohibition Kitchen at 6. Smokin' Joe Shower at Ann O'Malley's at 6 o'clock. And fishing out tonight at Cortez's Bistro. We got Matt Wilson at 7 o'clock. We got some great expectations for those local musicians.
People are looking for a company, I want people to have great expectations. We are a small family-owned brokerage. What that means is you get really personalized service and everything is very hands-on. You're not just getting tossed onto the MLS and crossing our fingers. We're very aggressive with our marketing. We're excellent with communication. We have a lot of amazing relationships in the community, so you're getting the advantages of all of those things.
All right, Sonnies, we spent a lot of time on this show celebrating everything that makes this county shine. But real love for community is meaning that we have real conversations. And today's conversation is about one of the most important ones that we're going to have all year. This is a word that you're going to hear during a lot during the segment. It's called ALICE, Asset Limited Income Constrained Employed. Behind that acronym are thousands of our neighbors, the folks pouring your coffee, teaching your kids, caring for your parents, working hard, doing everything right, and still lying awake at night doing the math that doesn't add up. Our next guest has dedicated himself to changing that story, and he's with, obviously, the United Way. We got Carl Creco back in studio. Carl, welcome back to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Great to be back.
Yes. So we're diving into this conversation on Alice families. Can you give us a little bit more of a definition?
Yeah, I think the easiest way to understand Alice is somebody who is employed, works every day, could be a couple, two working parents in the household, and the cost of living, the cost of the necessities is outpacing your wages.
Okay.
Simple and plain, right? You can't afford FPL, you can't afford rent, you can't afford food, because your income is not in alignment with the costs of goods that you need to actually, just provide for your family.
So is it like you're barely making it, or you're just not? Are you like underneath the line? Because there's a difference between poverty.
Yeah, no, there's a big difference between poverty and Alice. I think what I see more than anything are people that are treading water, really, covering everything, but then have nothing to put away. There's no safety net. And then something happens, right? There's a car accident. There's a health issue.
Oh, right.
And those things will spiral the financial situation of that family totally out of control because it wasn't budgeted for, and their budgets are so tight. So what I see weekly are families that fit within this category that have something unexpected happen, and they now need emergency assistance, whether that's support for their FPL, for their rent, basic needs, but they can no longer afford them because that one unexpected event threw them off kilter.
Now, have you always been, has this always been a topic or a segment within United Way, or is this something that's new initiative?
No, this has been an initiative for a long time.
Okay.
I think that, the focus on Alice was actually developed in New Jersey, where they really did a great amount of data analysis and crunching to isolate this group of people that were kind of being left behind. They're doing everything right, but the cost of living is outpacing the income.
Right.
And, you don't have to be an economist to understand that, wage growth has not kept up with inflation, right? Like, that is pretty obvious. I mean,
right.
Google it if you are curious. So tracking the growth of that segment, understanding the needs within that segment, right? Like, what are the things that are keeping them up at night mostly, right? Is it housing? Is it health insurance? Is it food? You know, what are those things that are really affecting this community so that United Way can step in and be as helpful as possible? So it's been an initiative for a little while now, and there's a couple layers of data underneath it. So you have the ALIS population, which we defined, right? And then you have the emergency assistance funds that, you know, I write checks for emergency assistance every week. You know, it's up to $1,200 for an emergency need, be it FPL,
Amazing.
rent. But you have to be employed. You have to be a stand-up. You know, you have to be who you say you are. And your situation needs to necessitate that emergency assistance, and we're obviously happy to do it if you meet those
Now,
criteria.
What if there's somebody who's like, definitely they've been in the trenches, they've worked their way back, they're hitting those spots, but they have something in their background? Does that matter? Do you guys do a background check?
That's a good question.
Things
yeah.
like that, or
On
like a
qualifying
drug
factors,
screen
yeah.
or anything like that?
Well, you know, we really rely on the employer to do that, right?
Okay.
If you're employing somebody, then I assume that you have those checks and balances. We're checking with the employer. You know, John Doe works at X company, is asking for assistance on rent. We call the company and say, hey, does John Doe work for you guys? Is this person show up to work? Are they who they say they are? Yes, yes, yes. Great. So, you know, that's the amount of vetting that we're doing because we assume that the employer has already kind of checked those boxes.
Okay.
So, Carl, what about sustainability? I mean, I know United Way is always focused on that, especially within grant reward or anything like that. So, sort of, do you guys look at that? Like, is this a one and done for these people, or is this like you guys are also helping them with some financial assistance, but also helping them get on the right track to get caught up?
This is a great question. So I would say emergency assistance you can take advantage of once a year. Right, so it is a quick fix, but in addition to that, we point you to other resources that can help you get a more sustainable existence, right?
Awesome.
So say you're having housing issues, we point you in the right direction for housing assistance. There's a lot of resources out there, and if you can continue to check in, if you kind of strike out with one organization, you can call us up again and say, do you have anyone else to recommend us to? We'll help direct you as best we can to try to get you situated, but I think that there's that, and then at kind of a more macro level, you know, we're working on this from a lot of different directions. You know, there's policy and advocacy with the state, with the federal government that United Ways all over the country are doing. So that's kind of more of a long-term fix to try to get, you know, let's just say, you know, minimum wage, something along those lines, whatever it is. And then there's these kind of, you know, quick fixes, and then there's the middle ground, which is long-term assistance that can get you to a sustainable state.
This
Which
is
we also help
amazing.
with.
It is an amazing program, but my
huge.
question is how do you prioritize the need? Like you said, what keeps them up at night? Whether it's housing, whether it's groceries or light bill, do you, when they apply, do you kind of vet those things? Is there like a metric that you go by of like, okay, these people really are in need of housing situation? Or
Yeah, so we track all of the data that comes in for needs.
okay,
And another great resource is 211. I think I mentioned it on the show
I love
before.
this. Yeah, let's try
Yeah,
this.
so 211, just to remind the audience, is a service where, let's say you are the person who can't afford the FPL. You call 211, it's an emergency line that will connect you to assistance to help get that bill paid.
Okay.
So you'll come to us, we'll write you that check if everything checks out. So 211 is a great data aggregator. So 211, United Way of Northeast Florida manages this, so huge shout out to them. They collect all the needs requests from 211, so you can see what is bubbling up to the top. And I'll tell you right now, housing is number one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And within the housing bucket, it's about half the calls for St. Johns County are housing. And within that housing bucket, a good portion, about half of the half, so 25%, is rental assistance.
Oh wow. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, rent
you
is
know,
ridiculous
Rent
right
is
now.
ridiculous. Yeah.
It is. It's crazy.
It's definitely something that like it's there's people that own a house that's paying less on a mortgage than it is
True.
for the rent nowadays, which is incredible. Like how has the times changed and the United Way reflected on those times to make sure that assistance goes out?
You know, we do the best we can. I think that you have a growing community here. You have property values and rent increasing, which, you know, there's costs and benefits. I think some of the costs are that you have people on fixed incomes. You know, you have people living on Social Security that have been in the same rental for a long time, elderly individuals.
True. Yeah.
So, you know, how do you help that person? And then from a more kind of larger standpoint, what is the long-term solution to ensure that people who want to live here can stay here? That's a larger conversation. I've been in a lot of rooms where those discussions are happening. But that happens from local government, state government. That's really, we can kind of set some recommendations up and help people understand the data and the needs. But that's really a policy initiative, to potentially, let's say, develop more affordable housing. And then that gets tricky. What's affordable? How do you define that?
Yeah.
Is that a percentage of income, or is that just a flat number that we decide is affordable?
Yeah.
So it gets tricky. I think that if you have enough people that understand the problem, that want to find a solution, good things will happen. And I feel like that's a possible. Hopefully we get there.
Yeah, I mean, I absolutely believe that too, that hopefully we will get there.
And the fact that there's organizations like the United Way and all of these ways that you can help the community, and all the people need to do is reach out.
Yeah.
I think this Alice program's great because with the employed being in there, it shows like, yes, these people are working, but they're struggling.
It's unreal.
They're not just
to
looking
me,
for a
yeah.
handout. They're actually working to be productive. It's just times are hard.
Listen, I'm 44, right? I'm not that old. And I remember where I grew up was in the Northeast in a city called Hoboken, New Jersey.
Yeah.
My whole block was cops and firefighters. Now that same block are hedge fund managers.
Wow.
And the price of homes, my parents bought in the 80s.
Yeah.
And they weren't like real estate savvy. They just bought a house to raise their kids.
Yeah.
They sold that house for like 5x what they paid for it.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's happening in a lot of places around the country.
Happening in
And
St. Augustine.
That's what I'm saying. That's
Yeah.
my point, is that some of the things that I saw growing up in Hoboken and, Brooklyn, Queens, that whole area of New York City and New Jersey have seen, exponential growth in the value of homes, which, benefits some people for sure. Like my parents made out great, and I'm not criticizing that. But it's happening here, and I think it just raises questions of like, what's our job as a city? What's our job as a community? Because the economy kind of goes, right? And sometimes it's hard to keep up. So what are the levers to help people that can't keep up? And that's kind of what we're trying to do.
I mean, we're talking about teachers. We're talking about first responders. These are necessity employment opportunities for people out there that really have to shine in these moments of service to our community, and that's why we need to rally about it. So going back to Alice and going back to the qualifications, is this just? It says Alice families on there. Does that mean you have to be a family? Could you be a single person to apply for something? Okay, that's awesome.
100%,
Okay.
Yeah. And, one of the key things to understand is just what you said, is that these are people that are critical to our local economy. These are people that, are working in the service industry. These are people who are first responders. These are nurses. These are people who provide, especially nurses and first responders, a critical resource
Absolutely,
for all of
yeah.
us. We should want them here, right? We shouldn't want them driving 45 minutes to get to work.
Right.
Because then they won't end up coming. They'll get a job where they live. And then,
Right.
what's the labor market going to look like then? So
We hear it all the time with nurses. I mean, that's definitely, there's a shortage of nurses. There's a shortage of teachers. There's a shortage of first responders because of that.
Yes.
And how can we as a community fix that curve? What's a good way that us could be proactive?
It's obviously there's local nonprofits that are doing the frontline work right now.
Yeah.
That you could donate to, you can volunteer with,
Yeah.
and that's definitely helpful. I'm thinking, Habitat for Humanity,
Yeah.
the Homeless Coalition, Port in the Storm, St. Francis House. Those are people that are dealing with the issues that are happening every hour, right? Not these kind of long-term changes in policy that take a long time. So donations are obviously helpful to your local nonprofit. United Way would be great too. Obviously, I can't not plug my own organization. But it really comes down to people who can make changes in a community, sitting down and putting a plan together, and figuring out what makes sense for us. Because there's a lot of stakeholders, right? There's people who own these businesses, who pay service workers, that want to keep them employed and keep them local. There's people who are interested in ensuring that their real estate investments don't lose money, and I get that too. So like, what is the middle ground where we're all kind of together on an initiative that has the best outcome for the most people?
Yeah. Now, is this happening? I mean, you mentioned New Jersey, you mentioned St. Johns County. Is it just happening in these kinds of concentrated areas, or is this like a countrywide situation that Alice families exist?
In countrywide, I think that there's areas of the country where it's more pronounced than others. But yeah, this is something that is happening on a national level, where the cost of life is just outpacing, the average
Your
income.
paycheck.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just that simple. And you know, I was talking about being 44. I remember in the 80s, and you know, you could be a post office employee and put your kids through college.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
like that's not really attainable for a
One-
lot of people on a certain.
I
amount of
remember
income.
growing up, my father was in the military. My mom was a stay-at-home mom
Yeah.
until, you know, we all got school age, then she went back to work. But nowadays, you can't have that. You have to be a two-person working household.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I mean, that's the pressure that families have to deal with every single day.
And I think it's important for people to, you know, kind of. It's not a political issue.
Mm,
You know,
no.
It's not right or left. It's a human issue, and it's, you know, we need to. If you're going to work 40 plus hours a week, and then still have to get a job on the weekends or drive Uber in order to, you know, make ends meet, like
Yeah.
that warrants a conversation.
Yeah, I mean, I know teachers that are bartenders on the weekends. I mean, that's absolutely
Pretty
an
much every
absolute-
teacher you talk to.
Yeah, has a
Sometimes they're
side
working
gig.
a full job, and then during the school year, they're working.
Or
you
they're
know,
a salesperson on some MLM
True
company. This is
story.
Florida. Let's be real.
It's crazy, man.
So, I mean, these people are. I mean, and when you need assistance ASAP. What's that time frame look like for the assistance? Is it
question.
something that takes a month of application?
No, it's quick. And one note is that we pay the person you owe money to. We're not giving checks to the individual who's requesting
love this.
assistance. We're
That's
writing
awesome.
a check to FPO. We're writing a check to your, you know, your landlord.
Okay.
Whatever that need is, we're writing a check directly to the vendor that you owe money to.
Okay.
Perfect.
And how fast is that? So let's say my lights got turned off by FPL.
Mm-hmm.
You guys pay that, and is that like my FPL account is connected to this obvious, you know, the transaction? Like, how does that work?
Yeah, so I mean, if you called up today, we would vet you within an hour, and we'd get the information needed to make the payment.
It's amazing.
What if somebody is self-employed or they're an entrepreneur?
That's another good question.
How do
yeah.
you prove, like,
A lot of things.
you don't have an employer to call, so how does that work?
Taxes, I guess.
Yeah, there's a number of circumstances. Not everything fits nice and neat in a little box.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of circumstances where we'll get a call and we'll do some digging and make sure that this warrants the assistance. You know, if you're self-employed, then you have tax returns. A lot of people are on Social Security who need support. So, you know, they're not employed, but they have a Social Security check because they're retired.
I love this.
So obviously this program's been around for a bit. There's been some success stories. Do you have one in particular on how this benefited a family?
There are so many that come through. I think that, you know, I'm just thinking as you ask the question, you know, there's individuals who have come through for assistance on rent that end up getting recommended to, you know, let's say the Homeless Coalition,
Okay.
that end up getting short-term housing that becomes long-term housing.
That's awesome.
Love
So
There it
it's-
is, yeah.
it's really the direction that person needs to go, and if we point them in that right direction and the doors start opening up, then good things happen, and we've seen that happen multiple times.
Yeah, I mean,
Absolutely.
I live by Volusia Woods, and it's an incredible project that Habitat has been working on for several years. And I talk to my neighbors, and to hear them to have, you know, there's a lady, she is 100% Spanish and cannot speak English at all, but it's amazing that she has this opportunity to have a house, and I can speak a little bit of Spanish, so we had this great conversation of how much pride she had to be able to have this opportunity. And I think that that's kind of what the United Way is all about, is making sure that these nonprofits are running efficiently and giving these services and expanding their services. You know, that's I think the growth that I think the United Way wants to see in each and every single one of their communities. Correct?
Yeah, absolutely. And we also have, you know, our own programming that really does focus on the Alice community, like our free tax prep,
Yes,
VITA,
big
free
one.
tax assistance, where if you're making under, I believe it's $68,000 a year, you get free tax preparation. Last year, we did close to 2,000 individuals for over $2 million in refunds
Love
that
this.
go right back into the local community.
I know so many friends that do this.
Yeah.
It's an incredible service.
So it's you know, we know that a certain portion of the population has a very tight budget. So what are the things that we can do to lighten the burden? I mean, that's really what it comes down to.
And it's time as well, because a lot of people have to be on the front lines and going to work and working multiple jobs, and taxes are overwhelming because it's like, it looks like a giant math equation, which it is, but you have the services there for you right in front of you, and it's not something to be embarrassed about, right? I
No,
mean,
not at all.
there is a sense of shame and fear when you enter this kind of dojo.
Yeah.
So like, can you help people guide how easy it is to be able to sign up for something like this?
Oh yeah, I mean, it's obviously we were closed for the year at this point, but once tax season starts up again in January, you go to our website, you sign up for an appointment. There's multiple locations to keep it easy, so hopefully there's one near your home. You show up. We have a certified tax preparer who's an accountant who knows all the most recent laws and regulations around taxes.
True.
Do your taxes for absolutely no cost. You walk out the door. And we have people who come who are like, I haven't done my taxes in 5 years.
Okay, good. Get
it's
this
like-
out there.
That sounds
Well,
like my husband.
Yeah, it's like, well, then you got to make a few appointments, right? Because we don't want the whole line backed up.
Yeah.
True.
True.
We'll take care of you. We'll sort you out.
Okay.
That's amazing, though, because there is that fear, and that's what I'm talking about, is erasing that stigma of, yeah, there are people out there that have services like this to be able to
Absolutely.
help people get
And,
through
you know,
these times.
I think in this day and age, I think the whole, like, I'm afraid to go meet with people like that. Okay, to be honest, I understand it's scary, but if I was in that position, you guys would be the first person I reach out to. And there's no shame in your game if you get in a point in life where you can't see the light at the end of the tunnel, calling on people who know their stuff,
Yeah,
who
yeah.
can help you, because that's going to help you get to a better place.
Well, I'll tell you, this job, I didn't really understand Alice and the needs as much as I do now. I mean, I can tell you some stories. I had a family come to our office probably about 2 months ago. Father, mother, daughter. Daughter's probably around 8. They're living in their car,
Oh, wow.
and he's employed.
Jesus.
See, that's real
And
right
he's
now.
employed. So it's like, what, that to me is a canary in a coal mine. You know, like what is that? How does that happen? And like, what
Right.
are we doing to ensure that doesn't happen? So
Why do you think
it's
families wait so
eye-opening.
long?
You know, everyone has their own reasons. Everyone has their
Pride, I guess, too.
yeah, I think that's some of it. Or, oh, this one thing will work out and I'll just hold off for that, and then it doesn't end up working out. Maybe there's a family member who's been, kind of stepping in to help a little bit, and then they stop. I mean, each situation is so unique. It's hard to kind of say that this is the reason. So not straightforward, but I think that everyone has their reasons, and I would just say, if you need support, you need help, reach out. Don't wait.
Where should they reach out? What's a good way to contact you guys?
Our website is a great resource. We have a page dedicated to emergency assistance where you can fill out a form. We'll get back to you that day.
Awesome. Hey, so what else is going on with the United Way? I know you guys are kicking off your fiscal year July 1st, right? Exciting, a big year, and I know we're going to go above and beyond for our community, and it's amazing what happens when we live united. So what's it look like? What's the road
We got
ahead?
a big year ahead of us. So one of the main things that I'm really excited about is we have our 10th gala, our 10th anniversary gala.
Awesome.
So year 10, last year was the most successful gala we've had.
Last year was really fun.
That
We
was
had a great
We had a
time.
great time,
We
yeah.
raised a lot of money for the community, the most we've raised in the gala's history. So
Fantastic.
I'm hoping that 10th anniversary, it blows that out of the water. It just relieves a lot of stress for my organization when we can bring in some money and know that
Yeah.
we can get the money out the door. It's the 70th anniversary of the United Way in St. Johns County.
Beautiful.
Wow.
So that's a big deal, right?
Yes.
That's a big
Huge.
deal. 70 years of service to this community. This community has changed dramatically in 70 years.
Yes.
I mean, I've only been here for 5 years, and I've seen change.
Absolutely.
So I can imagine 70.
Yes.
goodness.
But yeah, we're really excited about those two kind of celebrations of service. And in addition to that, we're really going to be focused, and this is why I was so happy to come on today, on Alice. I feel like that's going to be a real part of our messaging, our marketing. I feel like it's something that I feel is one of the more important things we do,
Yeah.
is focusing on this community. And, supporting working families in need is really kind of the call to action for us as an organization. Working families in need.
Yeah.
They're working, they're doing everything they can. And they need a little bit of help to kind of get to that next level and get more stable. And there's a lot of them, and we want to make sure that we're touching each of them.
Absolutely.
So now, the name Alice. When you say Alice, I think Alice in Wonderland, Chase the White Rabbit, and all that. So is that where the name Alice came? The acronym came from? Where did it come from?
It came from New Jersey. I don't know.
I think a teacher came up with this because
I-
teachers love
absolutely.
acronyms. Absolutely.
It's a great acronym. It's easy to remember, and I think it
Yes.
sums it up really well.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, I really appreciate your time today.
Thanks so
I think
much.
this is such an important conversation and not our last conversation either, but I definitely want people to be aware of what you guys can offer our community and how our community can support Living United.
Well, I appreciate the time. I appreciate sharing the Alice community with you guys this morning. And for those of you out there, please check out our website and look for ways to support. You know, it all helps tremendously. So thank you.
Guys, I'm going to put that website in comments right now. We're going to take a quick break with Maritime Creative and Flashes and Brilliance. Maritime Vibe Check!
Fresh version.
When the lights come on and the magic begins,
There's a crew behind the scenes that always wins.
Maritime Creative. They set the stage.
From sound to lights to video waves.
Big show, small space, doesn't matter a bit.
They show up, they glow up, they make it all lit.
No panic, no chaos, just smooth, clean flow.
They take a wild idea and make it glow.
Need a vibe, they build it.
Have a dream, they get it.
From spark to spotlight, they never forget it.
I trust them, I love them, they come on through.
Maritime Creative, that's the real stuff, boo.
So if you want your moment to rise and shine,
Call the crew that always gets it right every time. It's Maritime. Got gold? Got silver? Got a drawer full of what even is this? Then it's time to cash in with Flashes and Brilliance, Northeast Florida's most trusted gold buyers. They're not just buying gold, they're buying silver, rare coins, fine watches, estate jewelry, and all the sparkle you forgot you had. Don't just sit on your treasure. Turn it into cash today. Call John and Steph, the pros who make it easy. 904-540-7617. It's fast, it's friendly, it's Flashes and Brilliance, because your buried treasure belongs in your bank account. God, what a great conversation with Carl.
every time he comes, we learn so much. And
I didn't know
It's
about
like,
Alice
no.
families until today. It's something that we definitely don't discuss enough, and there are so many people that are working and they're going through it. So, yeah.
And it's like he said, some people think, okay, well, if this next job comes through, I'm going to be fine. And
Right.
then the next job doesn't come and then you're not fine. So,
Right.
and the fact that they're able to put it into action within 24 hours, I think is huge.
Yeah, definitely
amazing.
huge. Speaking of huge, we've got an event to shout out today from our friends at Boat Drinks. We got Docs and Dogs is back, baby. Leash up and chill the glasses. Alert your dog right now because the party of the summer is officially back. Docs and Dogs returns to Boat Drinks this Sunday, July 19th from noon to 3. And listen, our friends at Boat Drinks do not throw regular parties. They throw events and moments, honey. This year's twist, the hot dogs and the daiquiris are themed around 2 final countries in the World Cup. Ooh.
All right, so you guys are going to probably roast me. I don't care. Who are the 2 last countries? World Cup?
You need to Google that before you ask that question. That's
Put
right,
it in
Sonny's.
comments, Sonny's.
International cuisine, frozen diplomacy, and the only championship match where everybody wins and nobody's holding a daiquiri. Give me the lineup, and I'm going to try to find that question.
me.
Trying to get a clear cut here for
Now,
Instagram,
here's
but that's
the
not going
lineup
to work.
that has tails wagging all over the Sunnyverse, splash pads, and a full soccer setup for pups. Yes, your dog is playing in the World Cup of their own. We should call it the World Pup.
France and Spain.
France.
Oh no, it's France and Spain today, England and Argentina tomorrow, and then they find out who's going to be in the finals from there. So we're in a
Perfect.
semi-final area right now, so that'll determine what the menu is. But we're going to keep talking about this. We're going to get a clean cut of this
Absolutely.
one probably tomorrow to make sure that we can use this for Instagram and get some good shout
I
outs.
messed it up.
But seriously, save the date. This Sunday, July 19th, noon to 3, Boat Drinks. Bring your furry best friend, your World Cup spirit, and a towel, because between the splash pads and the wet t-shirt contest,
For the dogs.
somebody's coming home with something soggy and famous. They always have a great time over at Boat Drinks. All right,
Yes.
this first story here, the pastor and the pint. Sonny, today, local story sounds like it's set up for a joke. A coffee company, a brewery, and a pastor walk into a zoning and planning committee meeting, but this one's real. It happened here last Thursday. The Kookaburra, our beloved local coffee shop, wants to open a brewery called Bush Rangers at their roastery headquarters out on State Road 207. One little problem is, we remember this when we reported this about the pizza place over in Hastings, county rules say no alcohol sales within 1,000 feet of a church or a school. And Colonial Church sits about 400 feet
Yeah.
away. Now, here's where it gets good. Instead of lawyering up or crossing their fingers, the Kookaburra team did something refreshingly old-fashioned, Sonnies. They went and talked to their neighbors. They reached out to the church before even filing the paperwork. I mean, I'm just trying to give some hints here on how to get this done. And in June, the Colonial senior pastor, Matt McClowry, wrote a letter telling the board the church had no objection.
See, that's how you do it.
Is interesting, right? Thursday, a unanimous approval. Not one person spoke against it. The pastor blessed the brewery, and the board said amen. But hold on, because just 2 months ago, the same rule played out very differently in Hastings. Main Street Pizza wanted to serve beer and wine. Remember this story?
Yep.
And the board was 4-3 on that one, and then nearby congregations obviously appealed. Church members packed the county commission meeting, and they were wearing red. I think we have a picture of them somewhere in there.
Put that up.
Yeah, they showed up to the meeting all wearing red. There they are. Church members, no beer, no wine, no dice. The same rule, Sonny's. Two churches, two very different endings, and one really interesting question on how this all works.
Yeah, so the county's 1,000-foot rule isn't absolute. Businesses can seek an exemption, which is exactly what happened here. The pivotal moment was June 10th, the letter from the Colonial Church's senior pastor saying the church did not oppose the plan. The applicant's team made contact before filing the request. In the Hastings case, congregations, including First Baptist Church of Hastings, cited concerns about noise, safety, and the message of alcohol could send to kids in church programs.
What I'm noticing here in this story,
Very different congregations.
Exactly, Mel. That's exactly what I was just going to say. They're very different congregations. One I'm looking at is a little bit more progressive,
Yes.
and the other one is a little bit more traditional, and that may have been the muddy waters in this story. But I
Correct.
find it very interesting how Kookaburra went about trying to get this approved, is they actually vetted their community before, whereas the Main Street Pizza Company kind of went to the media first, and that kind of was a sting, because it was almost like, they're making me do this. They're, the pointing the finger, where this was more of a wholesome, holistic way around it of saying, let's have the conversations before we file the paperwork. Is this beneficial to all concerned, and how can we make this better? I think that was kind of a cool
teamwork.
way. Yeah, it was a very cool way on how they went about this. So, yeah, interesting story there. All right.
Well, at least until the brewery does something the church doesn't like, them they'll be like, yeah, we're retracting.
Well, now it's too late, because obviously
Once it's all signed
Once
and
it's
done.
all signed, yeah. So they made it. It's awesome, and I think that's
I think
a
it's
really
just
good
community
way.
working together.
Yeah, showing community working together. Yep. Speaking of community, listen to this story. The town that stood up for Sonny, not Sonny TV, but a guy named Sonny, Sonny. If you've spent any time downtown, which we have in the last over the last decades, you would know Sonny Clemens. Even if you don't know him, you know him.
Yep.
He's the gentleman on the bench at Hippolyta Street outside the Columbia, retired here 14 years ago, and ever since that bench has been his front porch of all of St. Augustine and his neighborhood. Shop owners know him, Flagler students give him a wave
There
on their
he
way to
is.
class. He's a sweetheart. One neighbor called him one of God's special angels. That is the truth. He has always given positive affirmations out to people. The kind of man who would do anything for you if you ask. Well, on June 29th, somebody tested this town, and this town did not fail. A stranger approached Sonny's bench and would not leave him be. Witnesses say the man spoke aggressively, put an object right up to Sonny's face, and taunted him. What's the matter, old man? You gonna do something? And worse, Sonny's, here's what breaks my heart. Sonny had just gotten out of the hospital. All this man wanted to do was sit on his bench in peace in the town that he loves. But Sonny wasn't alone. He was never alone down there. Local artist Obie Hunter, you know Obie, he's been painting downtown the whole time, was set up nearby and saw what was happening. He stood up and stepped in, and Sonny asked the man to leave him alone, and he wouldn't. So Sonny, for the first time in 14 years, he pulled out his phone and called law enforcement.
Oh, man.
The man was arrested for disorderly conduct,
Good, he
and get
should be.
this, police found multiple ID cards belonging to other people on him. You play stupid games.
You win stupid prizes.
And the very next day, not even 24 hours later, Sonny was right back on that bench, greeting passerbys, catching up with friends, exactly where he belongs.
So Sonny's own words say, In my 14 years here, I have never had to call the police.
I know.
Witnesses say the man refused repeated requests from both bystanders and police to leave Sonny alone before he was arrested. Sonny retired to St. Augustine 14 years ago and has built friendships with residents, business owner, and generations of Flagler students from the bench. And the detail that matters the most, he was back on his bench in less than a day after getting out of the hospital, and then even a shorter time from this man being arrested and harassing him, and you can't run a good man off his porch.
I love that the community rallied for what was right
Absolutely.
here. I think that's what's important about this story. If you see something, say something. And I love that
He's just sitting there watching the world.
chilling. I know.
Stupid.
I'm glad that we protected him, though. Guys, let's take a quick break with Old Town Trolley and the St. Augustine Attractions Association. Sit back and relax and take it easy, baby, and let it go as Old Town Trolley's licensed and talented tour conductors share over 500 years of St. Augustine history. Guests will enjoy the city's European flavor, brick-lined streets, and sites such as the Castillo de San Marcos, the Fountain of Youth, and Henry Flagler's former Ponce de Leon Hotel. This 90-minute tour features 22 stops and covers more than 100 points of interest. Guests can use their ticket all day for on- and off reboarding. You got to check out hometownpass.com. St. Augustine isn't just a destination, it's an experience. From historic streets to the unforgettable adventures, the city is full of moments waiting to happen. But here's the move. Don't just guess your way through it. Go where the Sunnies find the most trusted attractions. The St. Augustine Attractions Association. Dozens of the best experiences all in one place. From history to hidden gems and everything in between. Plan smarter, explore deeper, experience more. Go to StAugustineFLAttractions.com because here you don't just visit St. Augustine, you live it. Guys, did you see what happened over in Yellowstone National Park?
Scary.
Holy guacamole. Friday evening, Yellowstone National Park, a 65-year-old grandfather is at the campground near Lake Yellowstone and with his grandchild doing exactly what all of us would do, snapping pictures of a bison from a football field away, okay? I'm saying 100 yards, Sonnies. By every account, this man was playing by the rules. And here's the thing about the bull bison. He doesn't read the rule book. He is the rule book. Witnesses say the bison was already agitated, reportedly worked up after a truck passed through, and then out of nowhere, this 2,000-pound freight train with fur gets up, locks in. Look at them. He gourded the gentleman there. Look at that. 8 feet in the air, flipping it over like a pancake. Nobody ordered. I watched this, actually, the video go down, and the older gentleman went around the trees once, and then on the second pass, the bison caught up to him. It's very scary. Strangers, okay, what happened here? A professional photographer named Mike McLeod was camping nearby, filming the whole thing. And when the man hit the ground, McLeod didn't just keep rolling. He charged the bison, yelling, screaming, waving his camera in the air. And a whole group of other men jumped in with him. And together they drove the bison off the victim. Strangers, Sonnies, running toward 2,000 pounds of angry. That's the part of the story I can't stop thinking about. The grandfather was seriously hurt and went into surgery with a badly broken leg. His injuries are expected to be fixable. A long road, but a road, thank goodness.
Yeah, this is crazy. So
Crazy.
A bull bison
He is
can weigh
so
up
lucky
to
to be
2,000
alive.
pounds and run at least 3 times faster than a human.
Yeah,
So you're not going to outrun one.
yeah.
So the stat that surprises everyone: bisons have injured more people at Yellowstone than any other animal in the park.
And it's mating
Yes.
season, so they were already agitated as it was. So yeah, that. And I saw the video because there's like a white truck that goes by the
Bothers
situation,
them, piss
and
them
I
off.
think it just pissed off this bison.
Yeah.
And the grandfather was on the other side of the truck, so he didn't see the bison stand up
Yeah,
and
it's
like
crazy.
start charging. And he, oh man, I just felt
this,
so bad.
This is the second bison incident in Yellowstone in just weeks.
Ah.
A 12-year-old was hurt at the end of June, and there have been multiple goring incidents last year.
I don't like that.
But they're wild animals. They're
Yeah.
going to do what they got to do.
That's why they're better at shoes and belts.
You got, oh my God. Got to grab it. Here we go, snack back.
Freedom's just another word for nothing left to lose. Nothing. Unless something Bobby loved me. Yeah. Yo, feeling good was easy, Lord, when he sang the blues. You know, feeling good was good enough for me. Good enough for me and my Bobby McGee.
La da 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 da. Written by Chris Christopherson, me and Bobby McGee. The original version, Bobby was a woman. Janice flipped it and made it her own, recording it in just days before her passing in 1970. When it hit #1 on the following spring, it became only the second chart topper in American history.
It's an amazing song, yeah.
Christopherson said hearing her version for the first time absolutely wrecked him. One take of magic.
You know who does a cover of this? And you will never guess this actress that does a cover of it. She tried to have a pop career back in the 90s.
Hathaway?
No, but very close. Very, very close. And she does an incredible cover. Jennifer Love Hewitt.
Oh, yes.
It's an absolutely good cover of this song.
I like her as a
Me
pop
too,
star.
right?
How about
Love Shack, baby, Love Shack. That's where it's at. Love Shack, baby, Love Shack. Tin roof, rusted.
Hey! B-52s, I love this album.
Me too.
So, the Love Shack is just a little old place. So, the Love Shack was real, Sonnies. It was inspired by an actual cabin outside Athens, Georgia.
Oh, wow.
With, yes, a tin roof, where singer Kate Pearson once lived and where the band dreamed up their early hits.
Interesting.
And the iconic tin roof rusted moment, a total ad-lib from Cindy Wilson during recording. The band loved it so much they kept it, and now no human being can resist screaming
You have to do it when it comes on, yeah.
It became their biggest hit ever and one of the greatest comeback singles in pop history.
They had another song. What was it called? Roam around the world.
Shake it
Roam
hip
if
to hip.
you want to.
And they had the Rock Lobster.
That's right. I really love the
I do
B-52s. They
too.
were fun. All right, return to the mower. We all have one in our neighborhood, and here's one that's glorified.
Dear
because
Jesus.
Sunshine Shenanigans comes from Interlochen, Florida
Oh,
today.
dear Jesus.
It's a love story, Mel.
Oh,
a love
okay.
story between a man, his wife, and a riding lawnmower with a full tank and no idea what's coming next. Meet Kevin and Denise Harlow, 55 and 51. Date night at their favorite dive bar. You know the kind, Sonny's pool table, one flat leg, and a jukebox, and 40% of Leonard Skinner playing in the background. A bathroom door that always say employees must wash hands, and it means it was just a suggestion.
Ew.
Now, date night started out beautiful, wings and a couple of pictures, and then a couple more pictures, and then a couple more. And somewhere between around 4, the bartender made a judgment call. Kevin and Denise were politely asked to call it a night. And to their credit, Sonnies, they did. They hitched a ride home, and that was the end of the story. However, it was not the end of the story, because on that ride home, Kevin got to stewing. He felt disrespected, and a man stewing in Interlochen at 10 o'clock at night starts taking inventory of his options. His buddy had wisely pocketed his truck keys, thank goodness. Denise had hidden hers somewhere so Kevin, quote, wasn't going to find them. But nobody thought about the shed. Pause. That's right, Sonnies. Kevin fires up the riding lawnmower. Denise climbs on the fender, because ride or die means ride or die. And that's where the culprits nearly
Look at
4
them. I
miles
can't.
back to the bar and just under 8 miles an hour, so everybody sees you.
I was just thinking that.
Bluetooth speakers strapped to the hood, blaring classic rock. Witnesses say you could hear Sweet Home Alabama approaching for 10 solid minutes before you could see it. Sonnies, this was a dive bar. There's no valet. There's never been a valet. The fanciest service of this establishment offers is a bartender who remembers your usual. But out front, on his smoke break, stood a 21-year-old busboy named Dalton, and Kevin, riding his right, pulls the mower right up to Dalton and cuts off the engine and hands the boy the ignition key and asks if the mower qualifies for a complimentary valet. Dalton took the key.
It's got an engine.
He looked at the mower, looked at his cigarette, and the next, it was near, anyone can tell, decided that this was now his new job. The boy said, yes, sure, a valet was born. Kevin then requested the mower be parked somewhere with the shade for the engine. Meanwhile, it's 10 o'clock at night. That's the center console, and tipped young Dalton a cold Gatorade and 2 scratch-off lottery tickets and asked him to warm it up after dinner. What? And warm it up after he goes to the bar. They made it exactly 11 feet inside before the bartender, who had cut them off 90 minutes earlier, recognized them, which is when things unraveled. Kevin offended at being asked to leave a second time in the evening, remounted his steed for a dignified exit through the smoker's patio, where he clipped a picnic table, sideswiped the cornhole boards, and stalled out next to the ice machine. Denise, bless her heart, went smoker to smoker, apologizing like a hostess, while Kevin explained to arriving deputies, "It's got wheels, a steering wheel, headlights, and a horn. What's the difference?" Legally, Kevin, quite a bit
Yes.
of difference, sir. It's still a moving vehicle, and you are now issued a DUI.
DUI. Oh, my God. Here we go. What time is it? Oh, we got to do outro.
We can do Mad Mel's movie Meltdown.
All right, here we go. One of my least favorite movies of all time, Forrest Gump.
All
so
right.
all of you love this movie. You all credit this movie. You quote this movie, but you were bamboozled
Absolutely.
by a marketing director with a large budget. Forrest Gump, 6 Oscars, 30 years of people saying life is like a box of chocolates. Blech. 2 hours and 22 minutes of my life I'm not going to get back. For what? A man who sits on a bench and tells strangers his entire life story?
People love this movie.
Not one of them got on the damn bus.
Oh, my God.
It's a hostage situation, you guys. And here's the plot. It's a scrapbook. We're supposed to believe this man taught Elvis to dance, won a war medal, exposed Watergate.
We just had that story about Sonny from downtown St. Augustine sitting on a bench
He's
telling
not trying to hold people hostage with his life story.
Unbelievable.
And they did Jenny dirty. She had trauma. They used her. But Tom Hanks, I said what I said. America's Dad delivered every line like he was reading a cereal box.
Oh, my God.
You know what? They handed him Oscars. You know who the Oscars who lost to this?
Who?
Pulp Fiction and Shawshank Redemption.
Pulp Fiction and Shawshank
Yes.
Redemption?
They choose the freaking life takes about the chutneys.
Both of those movies are iconic,
Yeah,
too.
they should be Forrest Gump. You people are nuts.
Unbelievable.
Stupid.
Next time you see Forrest Gump, you'll think of Mel every single time.
Don't you dare watch it because then they get royalties and crap or something.
Chocolates. All right, Sonnies, before we let you go, I want to tell you a quick story about a name we drive past every single day, which is Davis, as in Davis Shores. 1925, Florida is booming, and a flashy developer named D.P. Davis, the man who built islands in Tampa Bay, rolls into St. Augustine with the biggest dream this town has ever heard, Davis Shores. Anastasia Island was going to become a paradise, hotels, country clubs, canals like Venice, and the finest addresses in Florida. The promises were tall and the brochures were beautiful, and people lined up around the block to buy a piece of the dream. And then the boom went bust. The money vanished, and in 1926, D.P. Davis boarded an ocean liner bound for Europe and went overboard somewhere in the Atlantic. Nobody knows quite how. The tycoon was gone. Sonny's and his dream sat out there on the island, half finished, for years. Empty streets, grand plans, gathering dust. But here's the part of the story that I love. You know who finally built Davis Shores? Not a tycoon, not a brochure. Families, working people, teachers and shrimpers and veterans coming home, nurses and shopkeepers, one modest house at a time, year after year, until that half-empty dream became one of the most beloved neighborhoods in the city. The millionaire drew the map, but the working people built the homes. And that's what I want you to hold on to after hearing Carl today talk about our Alice families, because that's who Alice is, the working folks who have always been the ones who actually build a town. They finished Davis Shores themselves. They're pouring the tea and teaching the kids and caring for our elders right now. The dream of St. Augustine doesn't run on big names, Sonnies. It never has. It never runs on them. So when the storms hit their houses, the busted car, the surprise bill, the impossible month, we show up, because this town owes its whole beautiful self to working families. And with the United Way, we get to return the favor. Big dreams drown, Sonnies. Neighbors float with each other. Be somebody's neighbor today, and we will see you back at 3 o'clock for the show that's on in the afternoon, also known as Afternoon Delight. We love you guys. Hit that share button. Yeah, baby.
Bye,
we got
guys.
more. Bye, boo.